Okay, so we're switching gears. Kansas and agoraphobia, kind of really a bad combination. We're going to talk about anxiety disorders. All right. Now, when I was in graduate school, when it got to talking about anxiety disorders, it made it sound like, well, yeah, everybody gets anxious, that sort of thing. Like, it's nothing like bipolar or schizophrenia or what have you. And in terms of like suicides and debilitation, that's probably true. But the problem about anxiety disorders are, first off, they're extremely common. Now, this is not generic stress. Everybody gets stressed, but this you're talking about bona fide diagnosable anxiety disorders. They tend to, most of them, except for adjustment disorders and acute stress disorder, they tend to be very chronic if they're not treated, okay? So the toll they take over a lifetime, if they're not treated, can be very, very significant. And also, untreated anxiety disorders don't in the immediate future or currently present significant health risks generally, but in the long run you have higher risks of cardiovascular disease if people are walking around with significant anxiety for 25 years. Okay, so here are, in terms of chronicity, here are the two disorders that may be time limited: adjustment disorder with anxiety, and then also acute stress disorder. If you have people that have acute stress disorders, you see here 20% spontaneous remission within 30 days. And by definition, if they have it beyond this, then it changes, right? It becomes PTSD. Okay, so if you have 5 people that have PTSD symptoms, 20% of those, it'll last less than a month, and the rest will go on to have PTSD for varying lengths of time. Okay. Low rates of spontaneous remission. Look at this, PTSD. Untreated PTSD, half of people remit within 2 years without treatment. And you know how they do this? They talk about it. They share it with their friends. They process it. And that's what's at the heart of psychotherapy for PTSD, but they do it not with therapists, but in their own way. They kind of gradually face the truth of what's happened, and you begin to get a diminution of symptoms. But the problem with PTSD is those that don't remit within 2 years oftentimes start going down a pathway of chronicity and increasingly severe symptoms and treatment resistance, okay? These 3 disorders are oftentimes very chronic. There's waxing and waning in terms of intensity, but without treatment they usually don't go away. And look at this, panic disorder, 20 years follow-up, only 25% have been subject to spontaneous remission. So we're looking at if you get panic disorder, unless you get treatment, you're stuck with it and for a very long time. Fortunately, treatments for anxiety disorders are good. The psychotherapies for anxiety disorders are good to excellent, and the medication treatments are I would say, are good, with a couple of exceptions. So, we've been talking about this more devastating and bleak picture with bipolar disorder, but here we can offer a lot that can really make a huge difference in people's lives.